Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Blacksters Furnace with me, Robert.
With me, Pete.
None of that matters because I'm back. The best half of the furnace is back.
You
The fire
tried.
is
You tried.
stoked. The coals are lit. The heat is heating.
Okay.
Boom. Turn off again. Boom. Jeez. Let there be light, baby, because I'll be shining.
One comes, one leaves. Mo's not here,
I know,
unfortunately.
right? That just goes to show that I am half because
Well, it goes to show who's consistent, who's been here, who keeps coming,
nah,
who can
nah,
you rely on,
you've
who
missed
is
episode.
solid
Don't
like
try
the
it.
rock.
That rock that was denying Jesus left, right, and center. Get out.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm back. You guys held it down nicely. I can't believe you talked about Kirk Franklin without me. I was
We
looking
had to.
forward to
We
the
had
episode.
to. In that episode, it was funny because we actually ran over time, but there was a few more things I was gonna bring up apart from Mace and Uncle Kirk. It was
Mm.
Kanye was there as well. Wanted to get into him,
Oh yeah, White Lives
but
Matter and thing. Come on.
yeah, yeah.
We ain't gonna have to talk about Kanye today.
Thankfully,
Cool. So we doing one for one?
yeah. Let's do one for one. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
you might hear my wife in the background. She's off screen, but still here in heart. Jeez. Morals.
Is it bars if you have to say it yourself though? I don't know.
Yeah. If Moses says that he's the most humble, then I could say I got the most bars. That's right.
I just work with delusional people.
Cool. One for one. Do you want to go first?
Um, for whatever reason, I've been slacking on my questions these days. I haven't had a lot of questions, but I
Right.
guess. Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll think of a proper one.
Okay, I've got a question for you, Peter.
Cool.
It's to do with the fivefold. Ooh.
Well, that's 2 weeks back to back. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
fivefold.
last week was fivefold week in church, so you know.
Mm,
So, within leadership,
yeah.
does the fivefold have to be represented equally, as in like a one for one for one for one for one for all the um giftings for it to work the way it's supposed to, or can there be more apostles or more prophets or more whatever within the leadership structure and it still work okay as long as the five are represented?
Yeah, I don't think it's I don't think numerical equivalence is necessary per se. So it doesn't have to be if we've got two apostles, we need two pastors, two teachers, two. We don't I don't think so, especially as you could have, for instance, if a mega church, and I say mega only in terms of like quantity of people, was a proper fivefold, you wouldn't necessarily need an equal number of pastors, people working in a pastoral office, as you would, for instance, maybe apostles, because for a megachurch, for that number of people, there's only so many people a pastor can effectively pastor. You know, if we're talking like real pastoral activity. So the numbers just wouldn't add up. If you've got a mega church and you've got an apostle or a couple or three apostles, whatever, you won't need or you won't it won't work to only have three pastors for that size of a congregation if they're doing it right. You might have more pastors because you might have a need for more people to do that pastoral work. Um, Equally, you might have a different number of teachers. I think what's more important is all those gifts were given for the edification of the body. And I think in whatever capacity one gift is needed or not, um, that's the supply that will be available, if that makes sense. So that's the supply that's necessary for that part of the body, wherever that leadership is serving. So no, the short answer is I don't think they have to be numerically equal. I think it's just that for a healthy sort of church, you want all offices um, represented and functioning because that's the optimal design for edifying the church.
And how do you think you make sure that if it is lopsided numbers, that one part doesn't start to overbear on the rest?
I think that's where it's not just fivefold in the sense of the offices being present, but it's also servant-hearted leadership. And so there, it's not, the leaders aren't there to serve one another or to serve the leader of leaders, as it were. The leaders are all there to serve the church. And so there isn't there's quite literally a round table sort of mentality. There isn't a head to the table in a strict sense of speaking, in the strictest sense of speaking. So it's the way that you avoid that in general, even if there was, numerically everyone was the same. The way that you overcome that is if the leaders truly prefer one another over themselves, if there's true love, if there's true humility, and servant-hearted nature causes for the leaders to want to serve God, and it's not then about one being served or overshadowing the other, if that makes sense. It's more that humility overcomes that problem, because we're all looking for the same goal, regardless of numbers.
Cool. Yeah. I'm happy with that.
Since you asked me about fivefold, I wanna throw one back at you, actually, just out of interest. Which of the 5 gifts do you feel you have, or which offices do you feel maybe you fall easier into, if you feel like you fall into any of those at all? And if not, which gifts do you think you have that God has given you to sort of serve his people?
I think within the fivefold, I major in pastor and I minor in teacher.
Major in pastor, minor in teacher, I like that.
Yeah. Right. But I'm still trying to work out my pastoraling, because people tire me out. I can't be talking to people too. I can't be around people too much. So I've been praying about it, but it seems like there's a disconnect, because usually if you think that your gifting would work in tandem with your personality or your strengths, and talking to people just isn't my strength. It's not that it's not my strength. I'm a good listener, and I'm a good pretend listener as well. That's another one of my.
That's not a strength. That is a weakness.
That's a great strength.
No, being able to lie is not a good strength.
No. It's not lying. It's partial listening. Listening enough that you can carry on the conversation, but you'll be allowed your brain to engage in something else. It's a very helpful skill once you get married.
Oh! Your wife is right there. I was gonna say that's not safe. Your wife is right there.
I was kidding.
And she threw hands. So. Nah, cool.
But yeah. I'm still trying to work out how I can mesh the two.
Well, if God if he gives the gift, he'll give the ability to do so. So praying that you find a way. But I definitely see that. I think that is definitely accurate. I'm surprised you say people tie you up, because you seem like the kind of person that's very empathetic, very compassionate. So it's interesting that ties you up. As you said.
Oh no! I can be empathetic and stuff, but I don't know what it is. But people like talking to me. People like telling me their problems, and it's all right. I like to listen and be there, but sometimes it's like, okay, we've been talking for 2 minutes now. It's okay. I even find like doing refreshments after church a bit much, because like, hey, socialize before chat.
Yeah.
That's why I just go hide in one corner, be on my phone, away from everyone. I'll go get my food and just go hide.
Yeah.
And you do the same. You just be ticking two buttons on the computer, acting like you're doing something.
I'll be there rolling wires all day. Yeah, but I'm not a people person at all. So that's
But which is strange, because I would say that you are like a minor pastor. I'd say you're.
No.
I think you're like teacher major, pastor minor.
No.
And Andrew's not in her head. Do you want to chip into that. She says no. She said it speaks for itself.
No, I'm definitely not pastoral. I'm not pastoral at all.
You
Not
are.
not in the sense that's useful to anyone. No.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
pastoral to me. You check up on me and say, "Hey, Robert, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, thanks, Pete."
Yeah, but I don't think that's pastoral per se. That's just, as far as I see it, that's trying to diligently be a good friend and check on stuff and do stuff like that. But I don't think that's pastoral per se.
I think that's pastoral because
Mm,
that's not a trait that comes naturally to people.
maybe. Yeah. No, cool. Cool. I'm happy with that answer.
Cool. All right, let's get into today's episode. So,
Deep breath.
we are recording on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Liz Truss is no longer our prime minister.
45 days. 45 days and she out.
Bro, it's not easy. Politics, you know, it's fun watching them heckle each other in like prime minister's questions. When it comes to
It's
doing the
re-
actual work,
it's annoying. It's annoying because it's a lot of throwing jabs, and it's unnecessary jabs, and it's very, very, very structured jabs. Mr. Speaker, my honourable and then you throw a jab, and it's like, Mr. Speaker, the opposite, and it's like, it's such a waste of time. It's such a
nah.
waste of time.
When they're on job, it's so much fun to watch. Like the other day, Keith Thomas was like, the lady is not for turning up. I was like, oh, that's a bar.
It was so many like just unnecessary jabs and teasing each other, and it's like it's all for show. And the thing that really gets me is, are they actually like, it's what are you actually doing? You know, if you've got this super conservative mindset and you've got this super labor focused, people focused mindset, why can't you debate, come to a middle ground and do the thing that's best for the country? Why does it have to be an extreme? And it's this extreme that we're not even looking at anything else, and these guys are just throwing jabs and not even acknowledging what's working. It's like, it's so I just, now that I've been paying a lot more attention, it just all feels fake to me. It all
It's fake,
feels super
and
fake.
and what they're doing is just doing enough to keep their party in power.
Yeah.
And that's why when the other side comes up with a good idea, they're
Yeah.
like, no.
No, they'll shut
Because
it
like,
down.
if it works, then the
Yeah.
other party will be like, oh, look, we said you should do this, and it worked.
Yeah.
But for us
Yeah.
to come in,
Yeah. It's terrible. It's terrible. But it's democracy, isn't it?
it's democracy. At this point, we just need a general election so we can vote Labour in, so they can do their 10 years.
I saw the polls, and Labour are all the way ahead. And what's worrying is Labour aren't ahead because they're suggesting, you know, it's not like we're debating and I'm bringing super, super good points. I'm ahead, Labour is ahead because the one that's in power is doing super, super, stupid stuff. And it's like, okay, cool. So we get them out. What are you going to do? Because we don't see what you're doing. You're not saying anything. You're just pointing out how these guys are bad. And it's like,
and there was this that so Liz Truss's popularity rating was minus 61. Prince Andrew was minus 65. So.
Imagine.
So, that's not the kind of company you want to be keeping. But
do you know what's funny though? I went to the co-op this morning. So this morning I had to go and grab some eggs because Anita was making some banana bread. Random fact for a podcast. But I went into the shop, so it was super early. So the staff are still sort of chatting and, you know, not really in professional mode.
Yeah.
And they were talking across the store. It's a small sparse store, so, you know, bigger than a corner shop, but it's not a supermarket sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they're speaking across the store, and the lady was like, "Oh yeah, no, this is why I never wanted Boris to leave." And the other lady couldn't hear. I was like, "I can't hear you, love." Yeah. Shout, I wanted Boris back. Boris should have never left. Yeah, we need Boris back. It's like, it's just silly, and it's
It's theater. It's wonderful
it's
theater.
that's what it is. That's what it is. It's theater. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have a third prime minister in the space of like 4 months.
Is it going to be a third prime minister, or is it going to be a caretaker government till? Because there's an election coming up, isn't there?
Our election's not up
Us-
for another 2 years. No.
I've read something.
No, so Liz Truss will be prime minister up until they vote in a new prime minister, but that'll be
Oh,
by
okay,
the
okay.
end of next week.
So that would be the caretaker government then, sort of thing. She's not really okay. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
So by next week we'll have a new proper prime minister
Hmm.
who will be. I don't even know because I've been following it, but I haven't been following it that closely. It's not that interesting.
It's the way that they can spin on a heel. It's like within one party, one person comes Kwesi Kwarteng, he had to be Ghanaian, and says, "Yeah, we're going to do all these cuts." And Liz Truss is backing it, like, "Yes, this is the best thing to do. We need to act. We need to do this. We need to do this." And then guy that ruined the NHS comes, spins on everything, and then they're like, "Yes, no. This is what we need to do. This is the best thing to do." And it's just like, do you guys actually know what you're doing?
No, they just want the jobs. whether they can do the jobs, that's a whole different thing.
Because afterwards, those speaking engagement gigs, they pay a lot.
Yeah, and apparently, once you've been prime minister, you get like 100,000 benefits a year for like the rest of your life.
Just like that.
Just like that. Imagine working 45 days, they get 100,000 pounds for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life.
That's great.
That's a gig. That's a good gig.
Oh, it's great. And you know, so Kwesi Kwarteng, one it's so funny to me that they were like Kwasi Kwarteng.
Kwasi Kwarteng.
So he was the shortest reigning chancellor.
Oh gosh.
The shortest he was the shortest because he died whilst in office.
Mad.
So yeah, conservatives are just a bit mad. Bring on Labour, baby.
Do you think it's fair though? Do you think it's fair that he resigns? Well, I mean, it's a moot point now. But as chancellor, in as much as he's the head, surely there were a lot more people that signed off on this.
Yeah, but he was the figurehead, so that he would have had final say.
Yeah.
Other than Liz Truss.
The reason I point that out is when the next guy comes in, what's different other than, oh, the public doesn't like this? If the same people that voted this one in are still there and you just remove the figurehead, you know.
Oh no, so like the new guy Jeremy Hunt, he's gone and scrapped the whole mini budget, everything that they wanted.
No. But then what I'm saying is, Kwesi Kwarteng didn't make that decision on his own.
Yeah, he made it with Liz Truss.
But they didn't make that on their own. Surely there were like more people involved. Surely there's
I don't think there was that many people.
No, there were a few people, because I remember even they were pestering one other MP, and he had said he wrote letters and had done this, and we all sort of like he said he was part of like a committee or whatever that made the decision. Like they were trying to get him to say, because they were saying that, oh, you said it was a good idea in one of the letters you wrote, and you know how British media is like, and so you thought it was a good idea, and he kept saying, this was something that the Prime Minister and the Chancellor, we had all discussed, but you said it's a good idea. And
that's what they love to do.
And the problem with that, to go off on another aside, is it's not actually useful, because they want you to say one particular thing, and it's not necessarily that thing is a truth or it isn't. It's that thing's what's going to run the headline.
Yeah,
this guy said it was a good idea, or saying Liz Truss to say that she trusts Kwesi Kwarteng, and she couldn't say she trusts Kwesi Kwarteng, because it was like, that's not the point. But anyway, what I'm saying is that group or that committee or whatever people were there making that decision, if Kwesi Kwarteng is the only one resigning, that stays the same. The only thing is they now know, or the public really don't like this. Like
So I think that now that Jeremy Hunt is in, his view on the finances will be a lot different. So even if the underlings are the same, because
the
his views.
direction that he's going.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they end up looking for ways to make that direction work as opposed
yeah.
to, yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
To be honest, it can't get any worse than it's been.
Bro, it can. It can. Russia and Ukraine and Russia threatening nuclear war. It can.
Oh yeah,
China.
and they were talking about blackouts in January.
Yeah.
That's gonna be great. Oh my day! I think for like the first week they'll be looting, and then
In
after
January, if there are blackouts.
with the blackouts. Don't ask me where I'll be because I will not be able to confirm or deny.
If there is, and they start doing houses, will you defend your house?
Yeah,
Mm.
I'll get the whole knife. I don't have a baseball bat, so maybe I'll have some hot oil ready just to pour on them as they try and come up the stairs.
Yeah.
Home Alone style.
I've got a couple swords. I wasn't able to buy my BB gun, but
Are the swords sharp enough to hurt someone?
no, they're blunt. They're sharp enough that if I strike you with it, like it'll do damage, but it won't cut. It's blunt. It's literally blunt. You can
But like if you
pass
had
your
to
hand on
stab someone with it, like go through them.
It's not sharp. It's got a point, but you know,
Is it
like it's
sharp
got
enough?
a point. I mean, if I'm applying enough strength, I could stab you with a pen. You know, it's as sharp as a pen.
Pens are sharp.
Yeah, but they're not sharp. It's not a knife.
A pen's gone through my foot before.
A pen.
It was a pencil actually.
Yeah, but pencils can get sharpened properly. Pen, like a ballpoint pen, it's not a
My
sharp
pen
edge.
is still sharp.
Yeah, but it's not a sharp edge.
Yeah, Peter, I don't think the people are here to listen to us talk about the sharpness of pencil.
True.
Okay, so with all of this nonsense happening, I wanted to ask you a question. Actually, it's quite good that you're on the podcast. Otherwise, who would I ask? But you've been in a leadership position in church for a while now. How have you found it? How have you found it? And like, what things that you feel you've done good? What things do you think that you could work on? And how do you think people perceive you as a leader?
I think it's interesting because early on in my life, I realized that if I give too much weight to people's perception of me, it will be detrimental to me. It won't help. It won't help me at all if I care too much about how people see me or what people think of me. And I realized more often than not, what I thought people think of me is wrong. So I was just like, so I say all that to say I haven't really given much thoughts to how I'm perceived. I haven't given any thought to how I'm perceived. What I think has been good has been more learning. Like for me, learning this whole idea of a flat leadership, and I'm coming on, and for the longest time, I came on thinking, all right, cool. What do you want me to do? You know, can I do this? Should I do that? Sort of thing. And it's the same thing, you know, in the military. You receive orders, you obey without complaint, you know, you do that. And so I came in sort of with that mindset, and for that reason, a lot of things still took longer because I think Addy and Pip had a much better understanding of a flat leadership, and we're just like, you're equal, if that makes sense. And that was something that took me a little while to get my head around because I'm not used to that. I don't think I still am, but getting better, I guess. So that was one. That was the thing that I think stood out the most. Was this idea of a flat leadership and how truly novel it is. That's weird. What I hope has been good, and you can probably correct me on this if I'm wrong, is I hope it hasn't seemed like I am or see myself as important, or you know, like a leader can sometimes feel or seem like they're above everything, or like they're more important than you or something. And I hope that hasn't become me in any way, or that I haven't presented myself as though I'm important, because I don't think I am in that sense.
Here's a hot take for you, Peter.
Mm,
If I didn't know that you were a leader, I don't think I know that you were a leader.
mm.
Whether that's a good
Which
thing or a bad thing.
that's the question. That's the question. You walk into number 10 and you see Boris Johnson. You're like, oh, with his hair, he can't be the prime minister.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah,
I do think that there does need to be like a bit of a balance where your authority is still seen but not flaunted.
yeah. But I think that's like, I think there's people, or there's a way that commands respect, or commands sort of, you don't disrespect this person. And I think in part that's, they are respectful, and so you respond with respect. But yeah, I think it's difficult because Christ was similar in that he didn't present himself as a Pharisee, and I think that was really their problem with him. If he did anything that they did, I think the Pharisees would have taken him on happily. We finally got a Pharisee that actually teaches with authority, that actually commands demons and that does all this, and he sits in the high places with us, and he, when he goes to pray, it's obvious that he's holy. I think they would have taken him on, like they would have loved him, but it was because he wasn't doing any of that, and he was amongst sinners, and he was, eating with fishermen, and
But then even being among those circles, you could still see that he was a leader.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's true. Um, so yeah,
Because I just figured like if there was like an emergency or moment of need,
mm.
if people missed your like inauguration,
Well, then knows to go to you.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
Which,
not to say that you have to be out there because you're not a
yeah,
paper idea when it comes to people
no,
in.
no, no. But then, and that's what I was going to say, which was good or bad. That's less pressure. You're not the person that they're looking to, so it's like, cool, I can just chill.
No, because they should be looking to you. A
I
leader's
don't
there
think
to
so. I
lead.
think there's people better suited to that.
No,
Um,
no, because the fact that you've been made leader means that they've seen things in you that people should be able to come to you because you have those that skill set.
I don't think I'm not approachable. I think it's just my skill set's better used, I guess, behind the scenes.
No, definitely that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're more behind the scenes person,
Mm.
but I don't know. I just feel like you could be more visible as a leader.
What would
Do
that
you know
look
what I
like?
mean? Do you know what I
No,
mean?
no, I don't think I do. What would that look like?
Um,
Because I think that then comes to the type of person that you actually are. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making it easier for myself to sleep at night. But yeah,
let me think about this because this is interesting. Because it's weird because even though you're, it's funny like you're behind the scenes, but you're sat at the front of the church because that's where the where the computer
where the
goes. So
computer is, yeah.
so like,
But
everyone sees you, but for all people know you're just a tech guy. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, and I think that, but then I think that's doing the job right, doing my particular job right.
Yeah. But you weren't called to be on the leadership team because you are good at tech. That wasn't
No,
why you were called to be on the leadership team.
no, but I think I was called on the leadership team to serve, and that's one of the ways I serve, and the way that I serve in general, I think, ends up being less conspicuous.
So you feel like not every leader needs to be visible.
No, no, because I think I get what you mean in terms of having someone to go to, but in the same vein, I think when around the things that I serve in, I think people would know to come to me, or I think people have had the opportunity to and have come to me around the things that I work in, if that makes sense. So like the tech, or like I'm not the best sort of Bible student or anything,
Yes,
but
you are.
around that, I'm not the best. I'm not the best. No, when I need to write a commentary and then my own version of the Bible, then I'm around the best.
You're like top 3 in church.
But it's
I
more
say you're
so, I
top 2
think,
in church. I say it's. I
no,
think.
no, no,
I
no.
think. Yeah, I think you're
No, no,
third best.
there are people in church, even in church, that have definitely, I think, studied longer and more than I do, by
But I
far.
think you've studied better enough to be top 3.
But I don't even think that's the point. I think the point more so is, I think the point more so is where and again, I'm biased in this. I might not really be seeing the truth of things, but as far as I remember, where the service that I do and that I think God has called me to, people have known to reach out to me on those levels, if that makes sense.
Mm.
And so, again, I don't think it's more so about being conspicuous. I think maybe that's the more traditional sense of leadership, and that's definitely not what we're doing, really. So yeah, unless there's ways that I could um, maybe present myself more with more, I don't know, with more dignity or with more charisma or something that's needed, um, then I don't think I'm supposed to be seen, really.
Mm.
Yeah.
I asked my wife, but she's sleeping.
Let her sleep. Let her sleep. Yeah.
I told her to go upstairs because I'm gonna have to wake her up. She'll be like,
Why you make your wife sound like a zombie?
oh, that's funny. Okay, that's interesting.
What do you think you would be like as a leader?
Um,
Because in a lot of ways, I think your talents are definitely showing, and people are recognizing that, oh, you are a multifaceted, multi-talented guy. Um, how do you think that would play out in leadership?
to be honest, I think I'm tired of leadership. I think I did enough at Salvation Army. But you know what? I think that because of my experience at Salvation Army, I've definitely been able to help Andrea as she has stepped into her position of taking over like worship team.
Yeah.
And so there are things that so they're just conversations that we can have based on like my past experiences of trying to like lead a team. That I think that she's fine helpful. Oh, she's nodding. She's pretending to sleep now. Yeah. Oh, sorry, you okay? It was a snake. Yes. So I think there's stuff that I've learned in leadership that I can pass on to her so that she doesn't have to go through stuff and make the mistakes I did. So I think I'm helping a bit. At this stage of my life,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to be in church leadership for a very long time again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still. I do still feel a bit tired, like church wise.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm enjoying not having responsibility. Yeah, and that's and I think that's why I haven't really what's the word, committed to like being on like teams within church.
Yeah.
I think his church I'm in the group. Wow.
Yeah.
Like worship team, bruv. I told Andrea I'm worship team adjacent.
Sometimes I think, and I especially appreciate your position because, and this was something I actually even mentioned. I was like, yo, let's not. Yeah, Robert is great. Don't put too much on him because that dude is tired. But I think it's good when it's not bitterness, it's more so wisdom from experience.
Yeah.
And that then means it's like, oh no, I'm not hiding these skill sets. It's more so when you need it, I'll jump up and then it's cool. But I'm not committing to then, taking that burden. And I think that's fair. I think that's
Yeah,
absolutely fair.
because you know how church can get once
Oh
people
yeah.
know that you're locked in.
Yeah. And the problem can also be sometimes it's like no one is willing to do it. So the two, three people that are end up getting
Yeah.
everything thrown at them, and that's not fair either. So nah, I feel you on that. I was gonna ask, just because I'm feeling maybe I'll be a little bit selfish. What's your perception of myself as a leader, and what can I do better in your opinion?
Mm. So like I said before, if I didn't know that you were a leader, I wouldn't know that you were a leader.
Mm.
Yeah. I know I want to say you don't carry yourself like a leader.
Mm.
Like when you get up to speak, you're just like, oh, look at me, I'm all shy, and oh, look at me, I'm so shy. Oh, I gotta tell you this, so I'm gonna tell you this, but I don't want to see it. It's like be a man. Damn it.
Be a man, stress.
Yeah, and like for us introverts, we've got our faces like we're like us here, you know.
Mm.
You got this side of you,
Mm.
and even though when you're in church, you're not a different person. You're not dialed all the way up like you are when we're like on the furnace and
Mm.
stuff,
Mm. Mm.
you know. And yeah, and you can come off as a bit timid sometimes.
Mm. I am shy, so of course I'm shy.
No, but there's a difference between being shy and being timid. You come off a bit timid sometimes.
What's the difference?
Timid is
Uncertainty.
yeah.
Okay.
Shyness is just a bit like wanting to hide away, but timid is like you're scared.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you can be shy without being scared. No, you can
Mm.
be shy without being timid,
Mm.
but you can't be timid without being shy. Something like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I do think you have good qualities as a leader. I think you are able to empathize with people from a place of logic.
Mm. Hmm.
Like I feel like your empathy and sympathy comes from your head first and then funnels through the heart other than
Yeah,
the other way around.
definitely.
And I'm the same. I'm the same, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that has its place.
Mm.
In
Mm.
marriage, I was to tell us otherwise, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I do think that within church, being able to empathize from a place of logic is definitely needed, especially when there's so much emotion
Yeah.
being thrown around.
Mm.
So I think that's very good. You're also very knowledgeable about a lot of stuff, and you're able to dispense knowledge in a way that's easy to understand,
Mm.
which is good. You're always willing to help. You're always willing to be there for people. Andrew said you're reliable. Her words, not mine. Actually, also we're
Appreciate
here.
you. Appreciate you, Drea.
Okay, hey, Pete, you're married. I'm married. That's joke.
Stress.
Yes. And I was gonna say this word as well because, like, you sent her a message and said, "Oh gosh, she's doing so good." I'm thinking, no. Are we in like a thruffle? You didn't know that?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, but
That's like you're sending my wife encouraging messages. Relax. No, but it's interesting because I think Drea is actually a really good example of a leader, like having just sort of even more less conspicuously taken over as worship leader because there's not been like an announcement or anything. but it's quite obvious that she's a leader, if that makes sense. Like it's quite
I think it's obvious
clear.
to the worship. I think it's the worship. It's obvious to the worship team that she's a leader.
I guess, yeah, especially without the announcement, but that's because she's functioning as a leader
Yeah,
within the worship team. So that's fair. Yeah.
and she's very much more a heart leader.
Mm.
No, or rather a heart first leader. So she leads with her heart first and then her head. I'm the other way around. So
Yeah.
you got that synergy. Jeez, yes. But we're not here to talk about Andrea as worship leader. We're here to talk about you as worship leader.
There I go again, complimenting your wife. Oh my god.
Move your hands. Yeah, we need to have a conversation because I've been hearing some things and I've been seeing some things, and I feel that it needs to be addressed and it needs to stop right now. All of this, oh, I'm so shy, I can't lead worship. It has to stop.
Fam, you don't understand.
No. I've seen you sing. I've seen you speak. It's like you're pretending. I'm like, who's this guy on stage? Just like saying in the background, just with, you've got so much, like you're in the intersection of creativity and logic. So there's legit no reason why you can't just come up with the fire sets all the time, and you have the ability to lead and to speak and to guide people or lead people. So what's happening?
It's funny because there's definitely an emotional thing there where the second you say lead worship, it's like, and it's funny because I think back to I used to be one of the worship leaders, like I've led sets and stuff, but I think it's more so I don't know. I think it's different because I feel like there's I think before when I used to do it, there were things covering. So it was like the music, there were all the instruments, there were drums, there were guitars, there were trumpets, whatever. And I think sometimes that covers. Before, we all know the same songs. And you've heard some Pentecostal songs. It's super anthemy. It's super, you can do the Kirk Franklin thing easy. Raise the song, the people will sing, and you just talk over the top. So, it's there were things that cover. And I think if we're being real, there's an art and a skill to worship leading that I haven't developed, that I haven't nurtured well enough. And so I think it's more so there's work for me to do. I need to improve in this area rather than I'm pretending or something. I think I generally need to improve. I generally need to work on it and get better at leading. Yeah. So I think that's what that is.
I've been thinking for the longest time we should do a set together in church sometime. I'll play.
We have.
No, with you leading. I led because you didn't pick the songs.
That's the other thing, yeah. That's the other thing. I legit can't think of songs. The second Jay says, "Oh, you're leading," I'm like, "Yo, what songs do I know? I can't sing Usher. I can't sing. I can't bring Eminem out there." And it's like I completely go blank on any worship song.
You say it and you're trying to be funny, but you can do it. You know songs, and you're musically talented enough to be able to put songs together.
I'm not though. I'm not when it's just like it's one instrument and it's like you actually have to be able to do the thing. And I think I can work at it. I think I definitely need to work at it.
Andrew, find a week for me and Peter to do something on Sunday, and then we'll do it. Me and you. And you know what? Yeah, I fully understand about the whole exposure thing. Like I started off leading worship on bass because bass you don't have to play one note at a time. The boom 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 boom.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. And I had such an amazing worship team around me.
Yeah.
Like it was vibes. It was vibes, and I was the worst part of the equation. But somehow I was worship leader. I had the best job, bro. But then more and more, guitars couldn't be there, pianos couldn't, drums couldn't be there. So I
Yeah.
had to bust out the keyboard
Yeah.
because like you can't you can't play just bass.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I tried that once, it didn't work. And so I had to use the keyboard, and I actually don't like playing the keyboard, especially by myself. That's like so scary.
Yeah.
But you know,
But
these
again,
are
you see that there's elements of you're speaking from experience. So there's a skill that I think you've nurtured. There's you've put in the hours, and I think that shows. And I think that's where I just haven't yet.
Peter, legit. Most of the songs I sing, or when we sing, you can sing, which means you know songs. It's all about picking the different songs from the ones that we sang and putting them one after the other. See, I think that the problem you think you have, or you know, I think I had this problem for a while.
So one sec, shout out OD because OD's joined us. OD's watching. Nathaniel. So shout
Shout to
him out.
Daniel.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Yeah, I think you have this problem where you are a structurer like me. We're logic people, you know.
Mm.
And I used to think that it was bad that I would plan out my set song after song after song after song, and
Oh
like
no.
and then like I wouldn't change the order.
Mm.
It's like this is the set I've chosen in this order. This is what we're gonna do.
Yeah. Oh no, but
Um,
I don't even think it's that because I think that's useful because especially when I would select the songs for worship when we're doing it online and we'd play the songs off YouTube, it would be I'd select the songs and the songs would have relevance to each other because I think worship has to be cohesive. I feel, and as you
yeah,
said, as a structure, you want it to be cohesive. So you want this song to maybe magnify this aspect, and then this one take from that and go on to this next thing. So I don't think there's something wrong there. I think it's when we're talking about that and then we're trying to find the songs. And I'm not the best singer as well.
oh, shut
So
up!
I'm not.
Look, my wife's even looking at you. Look,
I was gonna say, did you just get up?
bro, speak to him, please.
I'm not though. I'm legit not. I'm not.
Peter.
I need to work on it.
Mm?
Peter Cornelius Finn.
Cornelius.
Mm? Peter. To lie is not good. Mm? Peter.
Stress.
We cast down every lie in Jesus'
Wow.
name.
Amen.
Wow.
It's lies. It's lies. It's lies. It's lies. It's a stronghold of lies. We tear it down now. In Jesus' name.
And I even forgot that it was you that did the songs during pandemic. That means you can make song lists together.
Yeah, but that's not the problem. That's never been the problem. The problem hasn't been the songs. The problem is I forget all the songs. And it's finding songs that I'm confident singing. So I think it's confidence, and I think it's I haven't put the hours in. I need to put the hours in. I need to work.
You have put the hours in because you used to do it, and you did it in lockdown. It's just taking those two skills, putting them together.
I think I should be back up. I'll be back at every week, and then I'll work on
This is the timidity I'm talking about. When we're singing "Endless Love," you should have been at the front there singing.
No, I was like, just do it, bro. Yeah.
Well, I've told Andrea that we're gonna do a set together. You will lead. I will do backup, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I need to work on that.
And anything you want to say about Peter's leadership skills so far that you've seen?
What do you mean?
So we've like been critiquing Peter as a leader in the church and how he's been doing so far.
And how I don't present as a leader.
It's you that's called it critique because that's what you like to do, but it's feedback that he asks for, not critique.
It's the same thing.
It's not. It's
I thought it was the same thing.
I think critique is more towards the let's
Negative.
talk about the negative.
You call it negative, I call it improvements to be made.
Well, I call it what went well and even better riffs because that's what we use in schools.
Well, that's the real one now, baby.
Get out. I think Peter is a great leader. He's one of those that like to lead from behind, doesn't like the spotlight. You've got two different kinds of leaders: the leaders in the spotlight and the leaders that are behind, that are pushing forward or lifting up. And I feel like I know the area of expertise in terms of leadership that Peter wants to be in, and he wants to be the one that pushes forward from behind and lifts up from the foundation. And I can see that. In terms of being timid, I see what Robert says, but I feel like that timid, like, I don't think you are completely timid. I think you have a timid, like, countenance or behavior simply because you would hate to be the person that falls due to pride. So it's better to be on the far end of the spectrum of pride, which can seem like timidity, but really it's modesty. But I think modesty and humility can still have a quiet confidence that doesn't show itself as pride. And I think the more you are, the more, because you've been on the leadership team now officially you've pretty much been on the leadership team, let's say, for a year or two, but officially it was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, officially.
And I think the more you understand the kind of leader you want to be, and then also just taking ownership of that, where you don't want to be a leader like anybody else, nobody else's style, then that quiet confidence will shine through in a way that isn't sticking a spotlight on you. The only spotlight will be the light of being an example to somebody that clocks your type of leadership and is like, do you know what? I like the way that brother leads. That's the kind of leader I want to be, from behind and upwards, from downwards up. And I think you demonstrate it quite well. Everyone talks about, oh, we want to see everyone fly. Yeah, that's the language.
so wrong.
Yeah. And I do think you have that countenance where it is your desire to
see people fly.
lift people from under and up. No wonder you bench all them weights. Do you know what I mean? Like you've been practicing for a long time, lifting people up, pushing them from behind. And one piece of I don't think it's advice, encouragement. Don't be afraid of being the leader that you want to be, even though it looks different from the extroverted or the more experienced in regards to time and duration in service and leadership. Don't be afraid to be the one that you want to be. You may come across as timid, but you, in your chest, you know the truth. Whether you're shy or timid is only you. You can hear our observation, but are you timid? If not, Jesus hasn't given us a spirit of timidity, but power, love, and a sound mind. So if it is timidity, then shake that off, cast it down, and then put on the humility of Christ that still talks and walks with confidence and power in love, but is not boastful and full of pride.
That's very encouraging. Thanks. Thanks, Jan. And thanks, Odi as well, is saying it's the humility. I'm very humble. It's funny because when you said that not want to be one fall from pride, that resonates so hard because you said this to me before, and I remember you said it because it was your language. You're like, oh, you need to believe your own source. And it stuck with me because I was just like, at the back of my head, I was like, the second you start believing your own source, that source is going bad. And it's just like, I'm just like, the safer thing to do is
Mommy boy.
stay away. No, not you, Robert. You're good with your source.
When you're humble as me, you can believe in your source, and it ages like fine wine.
For
Yeah.
goodness sake.
But I'm very much like, stay with a healthy disbelief in the source, because I just feel like historically that pride goes before the fall. The second you start getting, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, that's when you're not, And so that's what's worked for me thus far. And I think, as you said, there is and I do believe there's growth needed to have the humility of Christ that didn't need to sort of run away from who he was. So that's interesting. Yeah.
I think that's nice place to round up.
Mm.
You're doing a good job, Peter. Keep it up.
Yes, you are.
Babe, you're doing a good job too. Keep it up.
Thanks, baby. So you're doing a good job.
Keep it up.
This one you already know, isn't it?
No, I'm humble. I didn't know that one. I'm humbly ignorant. The humility was blinding me from the truth.
Stop that. Stop that.
Yo, I'm so funny.
In your opinion.
Humbly speaking, of course. Anyway, hookups.
Hookups. Can I go first?
You can.
There's a Netflix animation called Exception that I'm finding fairly interesting. The art is what else has this type of art? Kind of like Bucky. If you've watched Bucky's art, it's kind of stop motiony, kind of like very 3D ish. It's not stop motiony at all, but it's if you watch it, you'll see what I mean. But it's the concept. It's really interesting. The concepts that they are addressing about what it takes, what it means to be human, what should be considered human, taken life and stuff like that. It's very interesting. So I'm only 2 episodes in as well, but I think it's dope. So my hookup will be that. It's called Exception, on Netflix. Yeah.
Cool. Baby, you have a hookup? My wife says no. So I'm going to give a hookup. It's a company called 5 Times More. And it's pronounced 5X More. So if you're looking for them, it's 5X More. And they
5
are
the number or 5 the letters?
5 in letters. So 5 in letters, X, and then more. Yeah, and they're just a company that are bringing awareness to the fact that Black women are 5 times more likely to die during
Labor.
childbirth
Yeah.
and labor than their white counterparts, which is weird, and there's no like real explanation for that. And so they've like created some resources of like questions and things that Black women and people with Black partners can be given to their midwives and nurses as they go through that process. And luckily, through the work that they've done, it's now gone from 5 times to 4 times more.
Nice. Oh, nice. That's incredible. We're actually making a difference. That's incredible.
But the branding means that they started at 5 times more, so
Yeah,
companies still go 5 times more.
No, it's a good milestone. It's a good milestone.
It is.
Do you know when they said that they don't know exactly why? Something just come to mind that maybe, when you speak to somebody on the phone or you go to a doctor's appointment, then they send you that nonsensical text, can you leave a survey, even after their service was very poor? And maybe they can do that with every mother after their appointment or after every phone call that they've had. Like, were you listened to? Yes or no? Was this sorted? And then, but in that survey, they would have to state their ethnicity. And then maybe at the end, that could be part of the review.
It's interesting. You should write them a letter.
A lot of surveys do that. Actually, now I think about it, they will include ethnicity, and you always wonder why. But actually, this is a good example as to why that was useful. Yeah.
So yeah, Black mothers, be careful. Hospitals are 5 times more trying to kill you than the white lady next to you.
I don't know if that's an accurate way to put it, but
yeah, it's right. Only 4 times more likely.
that's. I think we just got to pray for, at least now on our side. In addition to Robert, I think this is a great example of a hookup that's incredible. pray for ladies in labor, because most of the people I know and I'm related to are black ladies that will one day give birth, and I don't want them to be part of that statistic at all. So yeah. I don't want my white friends to be part of that statistic either, but you know, because Kanye said white lives matter, so we have to do the equality thing.
Also, just be careful around Kent hospitals because they be wilding a bit.
Dude, when I don't know, we're going to go back to London for that, because Kent hospitals in general are trash. I can say that outright. Trash. Like, it's trash. They're implementing new systems that make it a little bit better, but we had much better experience with NHS in London by far, and I think that's just resources and stuff. But yeah.
So no good hospital in Kent.
Yeah. You wait 6 hours for an ambulance.
Hey.
Sometimes 12. And they'll it's mad. It's mad. And it's just resources. It's not like the ambulances are sitting there doing nothing. It's just resources. But now Jeremy Hunt is Chancellor, so there you go.
Or maybe he'll come and privatize the NHS, and then there'll be more ambulances. Just have to pay for it.
You just have to pay for it. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, hopefully Moses will be back next week. Are we around next week? Yeah, I'm around next week. He should be around next week. Moses should be back next week.
Cool. Mr. Reliable over here. I'll be back. Consistency.
See, he'll say that the next week he won't be able to make it. See, this is the pride that comes before the fall.
Why do I have to go and do that? Yeah. No.
You've been spending too much time around me. It's okay. I'll show you how to do it, but still succeeds. Sorry.
Yeah, bad company.
Course coming out soon.
Bad company, good commands and all that.
Come on. Shout out to the intro outro music, Calvin Turner for the Audrey Amaze logo, Twitter at The Furnace UK, Instagram at TBS Furnace. You can email us at tbsfurnace@hotmail.com. You can find us at soundcloud.com/Furnace no apostrophe, on all good podcast websites and apps, Furnace apostrophe, and that's it.
Yeah. Shout out to Nat, Nathaniel, for jumping on and chilling with us. Shout out to Drea. Much to Robert's chagrin. I'll say thank you.
Talking about my wife in my presence. Can you do?
Would you rather I do this without?
I'll tell your wife. Oh yeah. Moses exhibition is still going on, isn't it?
Yes, Moses exhibition is still going on. I mean, it's dope. It's dope pictures and really interesting poetic devices that he's picking. So check it out. HMuseH
on Instagram.
Yeah, it's dope.
Find it. Be one with nature.
Yeah, literally.
You know, I might be there because I'm a natural beauty.
All right, we're done.
This is the Black Swiss Furnace signing out. Blow.